2011 up to current on number 5. It would never occur in Lake County. Never, never, never. To have that short of an attention span, impossible. I did not know until most recently it's to maximize performance. It's all about creating disorders. All of that's been falsified on me. All of that. God only knows how someone with a background can get myself in a situation like this. Certainly I did not put all my eggs in one basket. What I have learned about this would make your head spin. Where I come from is considered psychological malpractice, plain and simple. I do not know the specifics. I know what is number 1 becomes number 2. If it doesn't exist, create it in the most serious form. It would be hard to believe that, wouldn't it? And that's the fully incorporated norm. That's as honest as I can be. I will be sacrificial in that respect. Will I ever achieve that? I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow or the next day or the next day at this point. I am in absolute survival at this point. I'm at the mercy. All that's been taken away. Me, I'm responsible for me by staying down here. Would I ever believe this could happen to me? No way. No way. No confusion. Only an incorporated norm. What I have learned here is absolutely beyond belief. I took a law with an intended purpose. Of the intended purpose to be served, and it would have been for sure, without any question, in Lake County. I'm very much aware of obsessions and compulsions. Absolutely. It's elementary. I'm very much aware that what has occurred here, I'm looking at the highest level. And for me to say felons today, felonies, I would never believe I'm saying that. They falsified the medical records from the very first day, and they continue to. That's taken very seriously from the background I come from. Down here, I don't know if people are on psychotropics, and it's negligence to an extreme degree. I don't know. I just know I have never experienced this, nor would I ever believe I could or be in a situation as I am today. What I heard as far as insider information, I'm able to use psychology and subliminal influence too. I'm fully aware of it. My understanding, it put me on the high side of intelligence, up on the masters and PhDs. This is outright. I do not know anything, nor should immunity ever be a factor in any manner. Yes, it's 100% true. True. It's true. Where I come from, that's called psychological malpractice, plain and simple. Down here, it's a fully incorporated norm, and then some. I never heard pulling the strings, endless maneuvers. I would never believe I would ever learn anything about this. You're looking at an average guy from the Chicagoland North Shore as far as my makeup. Honesty, integrity, I understand, is not a disorder. It's very obvious they have done everything possible not only to create the disorders, but outright falsify medical records. That vocational evaluation, I didn't think in that context. The incorporated norm is to get medicated out here. How can you learn? How can you experience? How can you grow? According to psychiatrists, many of them, in their home, there's no reason. I have no history of anything psychiatric in any manner. They'll create it. It is hard for you to believe. I am being thoroughly honest. When I went back and saw, you already know about it. I'm not going to repeat that again. There's an earlier review that fully explains the incorporated norm of how incredibly powerful. All gone. None of that is there anymore. Absolutely none of it is medical. It's all it is. Jim Harris III is in a position he has no business to be in any manner. And who am I to say? Because they have the ability, as far as the laws, most powerful special interest, and it is fully, this is completely, I'm used to, if you go to court, I've been told down here it doesn't work that way. Well, I've been told up north, always the truth will come out. Always. Everything taken in consideration. That's all I know. I've never come across anyone up north pulling the maneuvers, anything like this. Just rambling off mental illness as a maneuver. Fully, and even worse, they'll falsify the medical records. I don't think that's immunity. And I wouldn't believe it is. I am getting all prepared to submit this to a psychologist. And it's totally out of my control what it happens then. It's not really what I think. I'm only who I am. The honest truth is, if there was any bit of sacred substance here, I would have gotten that PhD in vocational psychology. It was the most reasonable request possible. And if it was at all ethical in any manner, I would have been told there is nothing down here like that. You should head right back up north where you come from. They're too interested in participating. I've been thoroughly honest. I went through that 3 times a year. I understand that is psychological malpractice. I hope I am not taking that too seriously. I don't think I am. I didn't put all my eggs in one basket. I didn't do that. I wouldn't. I've been through headhunters, everything. I have done everything in my power. I was literally exhausted out of this 10 million population. Every possible avenue to get a PhD in vocational psychology. I'm finding the medical getting into, crossing the boundary into what's career counseling. It is such an incorporated norm out here that when I relate with a select, small community, human resource consultants, I've been told that's fantastic experience, and it is. It's great. Incorporate me right back on the Chicagoland North Shore, and I'd be right back on my feet with that. I have to prove myself. Absolutely. I would never exaggerate that. Never. No. No way. I am truly a very unique and very fortunate business professional. And yet, I don't know how this occurred. If it's thy Creator's purpose, ultimately I will know one day. I do know that every bit of that's medical down here. None of it is. I'm hoping, since this has occurred for so many decades, that someone who is very unique and gifted up north This will be a very outstanding example. Yes, I am not exaggerating, at least not relative to Lake Forest, Chicagoland North Shore, or Lake County. This would be unheard of as an incorporated norm down here. It truly is a different incorporated norm. Now, I understand up north where I come from. Go ahead, contact Jim Harris III, or even better yet, Graham Sisson. See what they come back and say. They're going to say, yeah, major bail, this and that and all. No. It's very obvious the negligence. They were more interested in falsifying the medical records. The maneuvers will absolutely be endless. I promise you, I'm fully aware of what a disorder is. And you'd have to push me into survival with complete ulterior motives. You know, all of that was done, as I'm realizing today, to maximize performance. Every bit of it was selfish. It was what they wanted. There was no reciprocal components to it. It's too evil. When I touched upon something where Jim Harris III, obviously, I think I touched where he lost his immunity, and I reset it right there. He transferred me to somebody who had even more immunity, an executive secretary who says, just take your medication, and that is just absolutely outrageous. That is, for people with disabilities to achieve their maximum potential. I'm virtually deaf in society. This should have been over and done with Mr. Alan Markowitz not getting wrapped up on entrepreneur and building the very strongest legal arm. I was never, who knows me better? How do you even know me? How do you even know anything about me? Escalated to that high of a level. You could be completely in the most serious judicial mess. It could be taken away from you tomorrow, down south here. These special interests in medical is completely out. That is the maximum potential. Seeking a PhD in vocational psychology, and that is as honest as I can be. Professional career counseling, it's hard to believe. That's the norm I come from. They did not once, the medical records were falsified from day one by mentioning entrepreneur. That's no way to disqualify. That works all the way up through Bill Pryor to President Bush. None of that is medical in any manner. I have no history of disorders, only the incorporated norm for over 40 years in one of the most desirable areas of the country where it's professionally managed. That's the norm I come from. I never would commit a disorder, and I never did. And you have my absolute promise. You have to replicate it to create it. And that's exactly what their masters are doing. It's exceedingly challenging to prove psychological malpractice. I believe in the last one I did yesterday is something that if you were to present that, quite a few people, that psychological malpractice, I think there would be very much agreement on the Chicagoland North Shore that that is truly considered psychological malpractice. What I just shared there, the incorporated norm down here, judicially, number ones and number twos. It is completely, that is perfect. It is well beyond corrupt. Every single bit of what I experienced here, from the very first day I walked in with felony, a serious crime, all the way up to that last contact with resetting that statute of limitation. When Jim here sure heard that one, and that human studies professor, Pam Mobley, is petrified about me. Cover it up. And I don't know about the immunity of the commissioner's executive secretary or or administrative assistant. But take your medication is thoroughly unacceptable. It is how the boundaries are most seriously, that's serious. That is not a joke. Can you imagine? That's long overdue. Well, long overdue for decades. Decades upon decades of outright evilness and rot, where this is well beyond any one of you or I. It's a fully incorporated norm. So that's how it happens. At least those eggs in that basket. Why was I not able to brand myself and make that connection? I will never know why this is happening to me. I do know it would be unheard of. The background that I come from to end up homeless, that's just, it is not medical in any manner, and I'm going to say every bit of it is out here. I expect more of the same. Outright negligence. No one. That's how powerful. It's how powerful. It could happen to you too. I do not ever know if this will serve the intended purpose. I do not know. I'm willing to take the risk though. I am. Because at least in Lake County and up there, it's going to be one of the most outstanding examples. Whether or not I'm successful or not, I have no idea what's going to happen tomorrow. All I can do is be honest with you. I will never pull maneuvers. Never, never. Everything I absolutely promise you that I would never exaggerate anything. I have validated everything I'm sharing with you. You may not understand the experience that I was able to gain, so there's some clarification. But clearly, I understand it's a very unique, very fortunate business professional. I absolutely promise you, if I'm reincorporated with that experience back on the Chicagoland North Shore without any question, no matter how seriously I've been injured, it's not medical. I would fully incorporate in that incorporated norm, and that is a huge psychological malpractice. Will I be successful at it? Well, that's kind of out of my hands, isn't it? I'm quite vulnerable, it appears. I have had the special interests and Republicans, by what I can tell. I do not know about the second party, the Democrats, but I have had all of that taken away from me, and then some. That's how powerful they are. Or is it someone from the Chicagoland North Shore? Which is it? Give that a thought. I'm going to leave this up to you. The only thing I can do is be thoroughly honest that the background that I come from, this is not going to be any maneuvers here. I expect the full truth to come out. That 8 years was not a misunderstanding, and there were no disorders I ever created. I absolutely promise you that. I would never. That's why I've only experienced honesty, integrity. I'm used to people checking me out and picking it right up. It's non-existent out here. Obviously, honesty, integrity is completely, operates in a completely different political environment. The ones and the twos of the most serious violations is an incorporated norm. In fact, it's very much running on self-will, completely wild. I hope I've covered them all. If not, I will be able to retrieve. I saw a human studies professor of the university system that has so nice to the students that participated in what I have seen something in the past in the exact same context, exactly to the T. Whatever she committed at that time, I did not understand that. And I understand psychological malpractice. I hope I'm not confused in any manner in that respect. I just know everything about me. And yeah, put me on the same Chicagoland North Shore, and if someone were to compile that, that would be beyond my resources. It all has to be delegated out. Of course it takes work. It's easier just through the easiest avenue to achieve than whatever the agenda is. That's going to all be out of my hands. That's why I'm doing these videos. I couldn't thank you enough. Are you kidding me? I couldn't thank you enough. Right now, anything could happen. I explained that in Psychological Malpractice, that review I did yesterday. Now I'm going to get on to number 6 of really what did happen in 2009 forward. I have been advised to be extremely careful, and I'm going to tell the honest truth. I will absolutely always, always. If there's more to clarify, I'm all ready for it, to get that wisdom out. You have, absolutely. You got someone that would never, there's no way that someone in the position, sure, there's a bunch of messes to clean up here. I wouldn't believe anything like this could happen to me by all the help. I think you saw my reaction. It's not help. I can't find any help. None. Oh, but there's plenty. Predatory. Outright predatory and powerful. I think you saw it. That's a pretty good piece I think I did yesterday as far as psychological malpractice. I have to say we are very complex. I promise you this is not medical. I'm not confused. I have no history of anything with any disorder. I'm me. And what I understand, all of this could have been the healthiest context. And I don't think you have to question the law with an intended purpose. Is that up in Lake County? That's me. I stayed down here. I have to admit that. But you saw it yesterday on psychological malpractice. Oh, no. No. I don't know anything about immunity. I don't know anything more. Where I come from, I understand that is the most serious form. Out here, I've never come across such evilness. Or what self-will, where it has no business to be in that context. Now you're seeing the result. Obviously, everything's added up to achieve this outcome. Yes, of course it's me, unless you have ulterior motives or some other evilness. That's how it happens. That's exactly how it happens. Nobody up in Lake County would ever, I wouldn't believe it myself. And yet, it's an injury, and a big one. And that injury is not medical. Oh, it all is medical. Every single bit of it. Fully ingrained and is a incorporated norm in society, judicially. I do not know anything, nor do I want to know anything about any immunity or any of this. It was a huge mistake to come down here. I had to go through the... Would you need to know things like this too? You'd believe wherever you went, it would follow you. I have always been most interesting, and I understand I'm extremely fortunate. That business experience I've stated has been fully validated. I need it branded. I need to present it. I did everything I could multiple times. I did everything I could. And all I needed to be told is there's nothing around here. Head back up north. I don't believe that myself. It all came together that the only help that's out there is completely irrelevant substance of the most serious boundary violations I know of. That's as honest as I'm not confused. We are complex, and we are very complex, and we have tremendous capacity. When that bundled up, a couple of thousand experiences in the proper context, that is non-existent in this area. I mean, I do not understand politics nor special interest in any manner. I have to say, never be tolerated up north. Never. Completely different environment. It's about as evil as it can get. You're seeing the incorporated norm on me now. My personal belongings out on the curb, suffering. I didn't do that. I understand I'm extremely favorable. How much better can you get than coming from Deerfield, God forbid, and Lake County and Lake Forest? And that I'd reincorporate right away as a business professional, a solid business professional that's been fully validated. I understand I have absolutely outstanding experience to create that success among the most successful. That's exactly where I fit in. Put me in that same setting, and I will adapt just like that, unless the two parties and powerful special interests have taken that away from me. You've heard it firsthand. You don't have to do one thing. Absolutely, those medical records are falsified. That vocational evaluation, and every bit of that was corrupt. I don't even question it. There's more hidden areas. I did not invest that much time, but I certainly is the most unhealthy outcome I could possibly. They do everything they can to maximize performance. In reality, logically, what I was asking for, you couldn't hear one bit of it, no matter how clearly I communicated it. They sick to build up the very strongest. It's not legal violations. The legal crossing in is completely out of control out here. 100%. I can't think of one single aspect that resembles anything as far as health, but creating the disorders is all it is. Think about that. I'm a prime example, and I'm not involved in any manner. Thank God. I'm going to make sure as survival. It cannot happen to me. Give it a thought. It's really what you believe. I hope it's right will occur here. I hope. It wouldn't take that much if channeled correctly. And now you do really know me well. I'm at the mercy. So thanks.